Hi, my name is Stephen Chan. I'm a Director of Care Services from Dementia Singapore. Being Dementia Singapore, what do we do to support caregiver in their caregiving journey? There are a lot of areas that we can focus on. I will touch on some of the areas, some of the programs and services, or some of the initiative that dementia is doing or has done in order to support the caregiver. So Dementia Singapore, our vision is to build a dementia inclusive society, be it at the hawker center or daycare center or hospital or nursing home. We want the whole society at large, as much as possible, to be dementia inclusive. The mission is to improve the well-being of persons impacted by dementia through care innovation, advocacy, and empowerment. I will touch on these three big elements later through our programs and services. So, one of the very first formal services that we have is Dementia Daycare Center. We started with Dementia, a New Horizon Center, Toa Payoh. Ever since we have grown, then the daycare center provide physiotherapy, occupational therapy, arts and dementia program, and social recreational activity, and also the arts and reminiscence. We also have another model of center-based services. We call them Family of Wisdom. It's a caregiver accompanied to the center kind of setup. So the caregiver usually accompany the person with dementia to participate in, we call them FOW, Family of Wisdom activities, 3 hours engagement activities. They don't stay there, they don't spend long hours there, because the FOW is to meet certain needs. They engage in activities and they go home, and then their well-being is being maintained. Because you need a very controlled environment to be able to engage person with dementia in different stages of their disease process. So early you have different needs, moderate different needs, and then when you go to the severe stage, there's different needs. So the caregiver accompanied model serve also to strengthen the bond between caregiver and the person with dementia, and then also at the same time, caregiver can interact with one another to form the informal support within the center. We also have home-based intervention program, where under the home-based we have home support team. Is a team of professionals or caseworkers who collaborates with caregivers to identify and support their caregiving needs through psychoeducation, emotional support, relevant service linkage, and referrals. And not only this, we also, as a dementia practitioners, look at the behavioral support, behavioral component of the person with dementia, and then able to come up with intervention plans to try to lessen the impact of the behaviors or manage the behaviors. Sessions are conducted through face-to-face. The caseworker do occasionally do home visits, and we do have a telephone follow-up. Post-Dynastic Support is another program that we started in 2019, sometime in June, and we see Post-Dynastic Support as a gap that is needed, as a service gap that is necessary in Singapore. In overseas model, for example, Scotland, in UK or in Canada, upon diagnosis, they have a service linkage, or they have somebody to attach to the person who is newly diagnosed and support the caregivers. Why is this important? Is because I think that we need to be able to prepare the person with dementia and the caregiver for the journey ahead. equip them through skills, knowledge, network, and appropriate services so that they can live well with dementia. They know what to expect and then have the ability to plan ahead in the future. For example, when is a good time to get additional help, when is a good time to admit to dementia daycare center, what is the routine like for this person with dementia. Or if they can establish this during peacetime, hopefully they won't see a lot of the crisis moments when the behavior become more prominent and then the person with dementia has unmet needs. Okay, so we also under Dementia Singapore, we have community support programs. We have a helpline. Helpline is designed to provide the caregivers with information about dementia. The helpline is very accessible, just a phone call away, and then you have a helpliner to be able to assess your needs, to attend to the caregiver's emotion, and then to see whether there is relevant services that can meet their needs or solve the problems. Or if not, then the helpline will have to escalate the case and then for the home support team to come in and intervene. Very often, caregiver support group is one of the components that we always advocate for every caregiver to have. Why the support group is so important is because we recognize that the caregiving journey may not be easy, will be tough, will be challenging, and then there are times that there will hit some road bumps. And instead of relying on the formal support services, wait for another medical appointment, the support group format, which we held almost every Saturdays all around Singapore, where the caregiver can come together and then acquire some skills, knowledge, and wisdom from professionals, because our support group have a professional who come in and speak, and also from shared experience among the caregivers. Skills and knowledge is one component. The other component actually is normalization of care. What happens is, in a support group, you hear real stories of how other caregivers caring for their loved one, how some caregivers struggle, and then you feel that, hey, me as a caregiver, I don't feel so bad after all. It's somewhat normal to go through this journey. I'm not alone. I have fellow caregivers. So the support group is a very important component. LDC Respite Care Service is when we train up a person with dementia knowledge and skills, and then this person usually is semi-retirees or retirees or looking for something meaningful during their retirement. What happens is we deploy this group of elder sitters to the home to engage the person with dementia in activities, in conversations. Why this service is needed is because we recognize that not every person with dementia like to go out of the house to go to a center-based facilities or to go to a community to participate in the community activities. But they are the quiet type who like to just be at home at the comfort of their house. But caregivers are worried that their loved one is not being engaged adequately. So we have this service to provide for them. Memory Cafe is it's a community program where we run activities, 2 hours program in the cafe space all around Singapore. So what happens is the caregiver, usually this Memory Cafe is held on a Saturday. So the caregiver will bring their loved one for so-called an outing to this cafe space where we partner with the cafe owner to kind of cordon off some space, and then we engage an artist to be able to for example, sing along session, and then the person with dementia caregivers come together in the community space, enjoy themselves for about 45 minutes and 1 hour. The remaining hour will be cafe time. So it is a form of engaging caregivers and persons with dementia in the community, as well as normalizing the care. And lastly, one of the newest program is Caregiver Support and Network. We do recognize that sometimes caregivers just need to be away from their caregiving duties and do something else. The Caregiver Support Network aim to reach out and support monitor caregivers who are at risk burnout. It provides self-care by providing information for caregivers to nurture their interests, learn new skills, maintain their well-being, and connect to a like-minded caregivers at the same time. So we build the community. Okay, so the other pillar within Dementia Singapore is actually community enablement. We know that dementia is not only a problem by the person or the caregiver, it's also a community at large. So we want to empower partners to create dementia inclusive community, and often enough there is always some innovative products, ideas and thoughts will come into the marketplace relating to dementia. This pillar also look into the quality care solution and see whether there is evidence in that product, and then whether it is a person-centered solutions to our person with dementia. So dementia friendly community, a little bit on it is like, we piloted it in Kebun Baru, and then it modeled after Kiama, New South Wales, Australia. It enabled dementia friendly communities through knowledge sharing, and we will be launching we have launched a dementia language guide and resource. And we also partner with different stakeholders, for example, SMRT, to make things more dementia friendly. I remember one engagement I had in the bus interchange, and they want to make the bus interchange more dementia friendly. It is not unimaginable that person with dementia at a very early stage still are able to navigate the community, but they need very strong cues, orientation. So in the bus interchange, what do? You can paint a very big wall, a bright color as an orientation, and to enable the person with dementia still navigate the community space. And this also in turn will relieve caregivers knowing that their loved one is able to still function as independently as possible. So we also provide training courses, especially for foreign domestic worker. We know in the Singapore context that caregiving or our caregiver rely on foreign domestic worker. So we know the importance of it, so we provide training for the domestic worker in 4 languages: English, Bahasa, as well as Burmese language to cater to the needs. And also we do have training that is suitable for caregivers to equip themselves with some skills and knowledge to be able to understand dementia better and to support their loved one with dementia. Okay, some of the training courses as stated. I'll move on to the slides about enabling EDI. I do encourage all caregivers to go through this enabling EDI training program, educational dementia immersive experience, where the caregiver or even professional caregiver get a chance to look at the perspective of a person with dementia, to experience as close as possible what a person with dementia are experiencing. By doing that, it allows empathy It allows understanding and hence the lesser frustration from the caregiver. Okay, last part of my presentation is about CARA. CARA is a dementia membership program. Some of you may heard of Safe Return Card, an initiative by NCSS for more than 10 years ago. We have taken over the initiative, but we rebranded it under CARA, and then we did a study or an evaluation on the effectiveness. And then bit of background about CARA. CARA stands for Care, Assurance, Reward, and Acceptance. The care, we want to build a community with creates a community with interaction and engagement. We want to bring everybody together into one space to be able to support dementia or better support dementia by sharing knowledge, exchanging ideas. Assurance. During our survey, Safe Return Card does serve a purpose, but not so much of facilitating the person to come back safely, but it gives assurance to the caregiver that their loved one who is roaming the community is holding on to a card that in event that he or she may not be able to find the way, the card will provide some form of identification and facilitate safe return. Rewards. The card also brings curated perks and conveniences. To name a few is Garden by the Bay. In the past, Safe Return Card have these perks. When same as CARA, when the person with dementia goes to Garden by the Bay, the entry fees is waived off, and then there will be certain discount for the caregiver. Why we want to create this is because we want to provide opportunities for family to be able to bring their loved one to go out and still enjoy the community. Acceptance. The team worked very hard to gather a lot of different merchants, providers, F&B, health and wellness to come together to provide certain incentive. It shows that everybody is embracing this dementia-friendly community. So please do sign up for a CARA member. It's free of charge, and then if you require a physical card, I think the signing up process will be able to guide you to obtain a physical card. It's in app form. Please do sign up. Just remember cara.sg, and then when you log into the website, there will be step-by-step guides to sign up for the membership. With this, I would like to thank you and then for your time to listen to my presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions